with all honesty, Africans professionals are the best anywhere in the world. And I'm proud, I'm proud to say I'm a safety professional. Anywhere in the world, put us beside any person in the world, we are the best. I'm telling you, we are the best. So, yes, in talking about standards, emulating, one of the things, and that's a very key challenge within the African profession or within the African um, organizations, we lack that element of collaboration.
I'm Vivian Boaz, and this is the EHS Unplugged podcast, the show where we share tips on home and workplace safety, environmental sustainability, and health and wellness tips. Join us as we explore these topics with industry experts and learn to create a safer and healthier world. Joining me today is an individual who works with one of the biggest organizations that we consider an influencer in the industry. But I'm going to let him introduce himself because if I continue, I might not do him justice. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Vivian. My name is Femi Da Silva. I'm the CEO of HSE Nations. HSE Nations is the organizers of what is now known as the biggest and the most prestigious health and safety award event in Africa. And of course, I'm also the organizers and the convener of the Africa Safety Congress. And of course, AfriSafe is known as the Oscars of the health and safety industry.
This is a by the way, but I really want to know, how do you define success and failure?
Okay, success for me is impacting the world with the investment of your personality. Success for me is also looking out for a human need and reaching out to meet that need. Success for me, it's outdoing your past. Then failure. Maybe I will not be able to define failure because I do not consider failure. So I don't know the definition of failure.
Well, interesting. So for me, let's just dive in. Your background. What motivates you to invest in health and safety? Why did you set on this path?
Well, safety for me um, was an accident, so to say. I stumbled into health and safety. I was passionate about writing, so I was already, working on a magazine, an inspirational magazine, and I also have a community publication whereby I do something on the community. Then somehow, somebody picked up the community publication from United States. The person went on an holiday and he reached out to me when he got to Nigeria. He said, "Oh, I saw this and that," and it was the then. He's late now, and he was then president of the one of our institute, the leading chartered body for health and safety profession in Nigeria, that is ISPON, and he said he has a publication that he want me to work with him on. Then I went to see him and we got talking, and that's how I got myself in safety. And when I got into safety, I found it very interesting, particularly because it had to do with human lives. So I was passionate about anything that had to do with human lives. So when I saw it, for me, it became a passion.
Yeah, I know, because some of us see you, what you call the Oscars, the African version of Oscars, what you're doing, mainstreaming health and safety, putting it out there. So maybe tell us more about your work, what you're doing right now with HSC Nations, what you're doing right now with AfriSafe.
Okay, I think before answering the question, it's very important for me to really appreciate the wonderful people of Kenya. Wow, I'm in Kenya and I'm having this interview with you, so it's quite interesting. It's quite humbling for me that what we started just barely 5 years, and now we are just everywhere. You know, yes, the African Safety Award for Excellence, popularly known as AfriSafe, and known as the Oscars of the safety industry, was born out of a desire to celebrate our own people. I feel that the safety professionals, practitioners, they do a lot. in saving lives, you know. And there's basically, when you look at the majority of the industry, you discover that how many people actually receive a fat salary. You know, the salary is quite poor, you know, except some few people, you know. And so I thought about it. I said, how can we encourage these people? They have done so much, that's putting a lot, and you could see their passion. So how can we encourage these people? And and people just thought about it that, oh, maybe safety is boring, you know. So I thought, okay, how can we bring fun into safety while still maintaining that professionalism that it is? We look at the musical industry, we see the Grammys, we see the Oscars, and many people, celebrated, and our own people, what happened? Basically none beyond their workplace, and even their workplace, just thank you. That. So we need something to push them up there, to expose them to the whole world, for the whole world to see that this is the real deal. Safety is the real deal. So that's what gave birth to the AfriSafe, and we started the AfriSafe like that, and here we are.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've heard the story, where you started, where you are right now, and it's huge, and you're really having a positive impact across the continent. So that's really good job, and I applaud you guys. But in as much as you've put safety on the global map, right? People are still dying. We're still losing so many lives. We still have governments that are not supportive of OSH, interventions. So how is HEC Nations, how is AfriSafe going to bridge that gap going forward?
Okay, to be honest, it's quite sad that the rate of accidents kept showing higher every day. But one thing I must tell you is that there have been a lot of improvements, to be honest. There have been a lot of improvements. The awareness has increased compared to where we are coming from. For us as a nation, there have been various people that have done so much in safety. And I must commend organizations like IOSH. I mean, I must really commend organizations like IOSH, among several other organizations that have done so much in these regards. And so, um, in covering accidents, everybody have a role to play. For us as HSC Nations, one of the things we've been able to do is to inspire people to be more committed or to be more dedicated to the safety work. We're just inspiring them, we're just motivating them. Because you discover that without motivation, people lose that drive. And that is the essence of AfriSafe, HSC Nations. When we started it, like I said, AfriSafe is more than an award, it's a movement. So it's this thing called AfriSafe, this thing called HSC Nation, it's a movement. It's a drive. It's a clarion call for a safer and a more sustainable Africa. And we are on that drive. We are on that movement to inspire people, to motivate people, to be more committed to workplace safety, aspiring to your inspiration. So people look at what others do and they aspire to their inspiration. And before you know, the awareness kept getting better, kept moving higher, and people kept starting different things just to be sure that, okay, we want to get on that global, we want to get on that African stage. And, creating awareness everywhere, the competition is stiffer and it gets better, Yeah. I hope I'll be able to answer a question, but just in case, please remind me again.
Okay, Femi, speaking about emulating what other people are doing, Africa right now, when it comes to safety, we are not there yet, right? So what we are doing or we've been doing has been emulating more established OSH industries like the UK and the US, right? So what do you think we can do to get to that level where they are?
Okay, with all honesty, Africans professionals are the best anywhere in the world. And I'm proud. I'm proud to say I'm a safety professional. Anywhere in the world, put us beside any person in the world, we are the best. I'm telling you, we are the best. So, yes, in talking about standards, emulating, one of the things, and that's a very key challenge within the African profession or within the African organizations, we lack that element of collaboration. When you look at the United States or even some of those countries that we looked at, what has worked for them so far is they've been able to collaborate. You see this organization and this organization coming together. The other time I saw IOSH, NEBOSH, and some other organization coming together at the British Safety Council, so coming together to collaborate, and I felt that was good. So that's one of our greatest challenges, and that's why in the last AfriSafe and the African Safety Congress, we talked about collaborating for a sustainable Africa. That was the key. And for us, that's why I'm here in Kenya, to see how we could collaborate with various people. So if Africans could come together, African professionals, African professional organizations could come together. For instance, WASPAC in Kenya, ISPON in Lagos, and the various professional bodies across Africa. If we could come together to present a united front, we'll be amazed at the speed we will go.
Strength and unity. I like that. But you're doing it right now with HC Nations, and then you're doing it with AfriSafe. But these partners, who are they exactly that they could be approaching? Because some of these safety associations, they're led by individuals who are already in the workspace. They're already working for other people. So this thing, if it's an association, they're either doing it, out of a passion for that, or it's just something they want to do to advance their careers. Because if you're the president of WASPAC or you're the secretary general of WASPAC, and that appears on your CV, it's a big deal, right? But which are the partners out there that they can target? You've mentioned IOSH.
Okay, there are a lot of partners that people can actually approach, but another challenge is, are those partners willing to actually collaborate with us? That's very key. And you discover that there are a lot of selfish organizations across the world that with their various agendas, with their various agendas, they come to you as like, oh, we are interested in Africa, we are interested in safety, but they're not interested. They're just interested in the money. I must also commend organizations like IOSH, and I see British Safety Council also doing some things with some African, yeah, British Safety Council is also doing some things with some. I think that's commendable. And we have some other organizations, which I'm yet to quantify their impact. We have various branches, from various professional organizations. I don't want to mention their names because I've not been paid for publicity. But then, we have several of them, also trying to do something in Africa, which I feel is also commendable, but we need a lot more. For Africa to get there, look at many things, look at the informal sectors. There's so much to be done there, and without the adequate resources, we might not be able to reach these people, or we will just be moving at a snail speed. But when we have this collaboration, when we have these resources from the foreign bodies, yes, we could do much more, reaching everybody with that message.
Yeah. I like that you brought in the informal sector, which I've told you I'm very passionate about, and IOSH too, doing a couple of projects in that area. But recently, not actually recently, OSH is now a fundamental human right, right? So how do you think that is being translated across the continent?
Okay, the last AfriSafe, we had and I must appreciate the ILO as well. The ILO, they are doing. We begin to feel a lot of impact. We're beginning to feel some impact, despite the fact that they've been there for a long time, and they're doing some things, and but we need a whole lot more. We need a whole lot more from the ILO, a whole lot more, especially in Africa. They're doing something already, and that's quite commendable. And the last officer we have, and I must really appreciate the ILO. We had the ILO representative, that's Dr. Vanessa Fowler, from the ILO, was at the AfriSafe to talk about us as the fundamental human rights. The videos are there on YouTube, and she spoke a lot about where we are, the challenges, and what we need to do. So, and everything bounds back to collaboration. Okay, the workers, the professional bodies, the regulatory bodies, we need to come together to see how this can be translated into our workplaces. What can be done? You know, how many people even know that OSH is actually a fundamental human right in Africa? I mean, people go out there. We are even talking about the professional, among the professionals, not among the informal sectors now. The informal sector is not that ballgame entirely. But we are talking about the professionals. How many people know that OSH as a fundamental human right? You see somebody at his workplace and something happened and the guy said, okay, well, they don't want me to do this. I just had to resign. He didn't even know that he has a right to sue the organization. He might be thinking that, okay, I don't have the resources to sue them. But there are several lawyers, we can recommend many, that will take up the case for free. They are passionate QHSE lawyers that will take such and come to the rescue. Yeah.
Yeah, but Femi, HSE nations, what are you guys really doing to ensure that this message that we are sharing here now gets to the guys on the ground? How do we ensure that the hardest to reach receive this information?
Okay.
Yeah.
For us at HSE Nations, of course, HSE Nations is the organizer of AfriSafe. Let me say one of the things that AfriSafe is doing. Yeah, one of the things AfriSafe is doing is that we have an AfriSafe Foundation now. Okay, and what we do is that we are starting some projects across various African countries. You know, for instance, in Zambia, and my heart goes to the people of Zambia, wonderful people, wonderful country, amazing people. And the government of Zambia just so well, I give it to them in terms of their commitment to safety. You know, now in Zambia, our global vice president Nwala was at the. I mean, he offered a professional services, a professional advice free. You know, this is a top professional. You know, to the recent incidents that happened in Zambia, and we are already giving our professional services there already. So we intend doing much more across some African countries that we have various representatives. We have representatives in 22 African countries at the moment. So we intend penetrating that if there's any issues anywhere they have to do with safety, we want to volunteer with our expertise, with these amazing professionals that we know, because we have database operations that are doing a lot in different areas. So we want to be able to say, oh, please, you are in this country, please, can you just go there to offer your service to them, to help them, to assist them, both in training, especially when we talk about the informal sectors. For instance, we had a collaboration with a very young guy called Daria Kifoshile. He's a first aider, and where we trained some informal sectors, of course, teachers and some. It was opened to both the formal and formal sector. We trained them on first aids and emergency evacuation techniques. You know, and that already is having an impact. So when there's an accident at the home front, we have the maid or the gateman can be able to respond to such. When there's an accident in the workplace, maybe a gateman that doesn't even know anything about that because he's been trained by us, you know, through our collaboration with first aid services, will be able to respond to such. And we're going to be doing a lot of such training across Africa, free training, especially to the informal sectors, and we're going to be certifying them as well. Of course, we are also calling for organization, and that's why I'm quite excited about you too, about your passion for this informal sector. And IOSH too, you know, I had a discussion with Alan Steven, that's known, and I must also give it to that young man. He's a young man.
Exactly.
So I must give it to Alan. I mean, Alan's passion for Africa is really amazing, you know. So they talk about their plan for the informal sector, and I'm so excited about it, and I'm going to see how, and I'm waiting to see how that is going to unveil. So we know that if that comes in and they're able to push it, I mean, a whole lot will happen within the African informal sector.
I like that you mentioned that professionals can come on board, but how do they do it? How can they join? People who want to volunteer as a trainer for first aid, fire, or just general health and safety.
Okay.
How do they join?
Okay, I think okay, that's a very good question, and I think I have to go back to the drawing board and see. But what we do is before now is, but what you've told me now, I'm going to work on it. Before now, we looked at people that that's based on what our global vice president have, you know, some of our plans. We look at people that have been shortlisted in AfriSafe, And I tell you, when AfriSave last nomination, we have about 10,000 nominations across Africa and across the world. So we are looking at these people, this pool of people that have done so much. And imagine we have over 2,000 shortlisted, and we see the impact of what these people have done in their countries, in their locality. You'll be shocked, you'll be amazed. So we are looking at these people to start with, that making something happen, because we already know their passion. We know that when you call on them, they'll respond. They are not doing it because of recognition, mind you, but because they also know that they're going to be recognized for it. It becomes much, much more easier. Therefore, professional, how can professional get involved? Okay, first, follow HS Nations. When they follow us on our social media, then I think it's time that HS Nation is going to be creating, we're going to be creating a WhatsApp group. I think it's time that we're going to create a WhatsApp group for information purposes, that when we have, of course, in our database, I'm telling you, in our database, we have over 50,000 professionals in our database, then the active ones, we have over 5,000 active ones that when we reach out to them now, they respond in our mail.
Yeah, and that also brings me to my next question, which would be on OSH stories.
OSH stories.
Yes.
Okay.
How are we helping or assisting, either financially or just professional support, people who are out here telling OSH stories? Either there's an accident in Kenya and they're out there collecting those stories, doing investigations and reporting. How is HEC Nations going forward going to be able to support such individuals?
Okay, HEC Nation is a growing organization, I must say. And there are limits to what we can actually do. So what we know as HEC Nation is that our platform that we have, we are going to be showcasing such people. And that's what we do, actually. Go there. We have what we call the man crush. We have the woman crush. We also have what we call the spotlight, whereby we spotlight people that are doing something across Africa. We spotlight them for the world to see. Check what they are doing. Encourage people to support them and move with them. So that's one of the things we are doing.
Okay. So tell me, if you were to sit here again in the next 5 years, what's the future like?
The future is so bright for the OSH profession. For the OSH profession, we've not for us as HS Nation, we've not started. Yeah, we started some campaign, some awareness campaign, but I think we're going to be moving beyond the awareness campaign to moving to some solidarity campaign, to push for some things. We're going to be moving to it. And there are some people that have actually started some things. There are so many things to fight for in Africa, and there's so many things to fight against in Africa. One of such to fight against, I'm not going to say it here now, but we have so many things to fight against. And people that thought that Africans are not going to be united, you are joking. We are going to be united, and Africa is getting to know what their rights right now. They are getting to know their rights, and we are going to be very united. And when we get united, and we will, and the time is not, because we are already on it already. We are already on it. You see a musical concert, and people are putting in several millions of naira to sponsor a musical concert, and a city event. We are looking for some little change, and we couldn't get it. Imagine what you're doing. Imagine if there's a support. Imagine what could have been done. Imagine the kind of awareness that would have been created. Why are we getting so support? No. But thank God we have some organizations now that are stepping forward, that, safety is very important. Safety is very key. Beyond paying lip services, let's push our resources in this regard. Not just sponsoring football, not just sponsoring music, all this thing. What matters most? Health and safety of the people matters most. So let's support this. And this is also a call for other organizations to support such initiative. There are many of them across Africa. I'm telling you, there are many young people across Africa that are doing amazing, remarkable things. Follow our platform on HS Nation. You see when we start what we call the nominees highlights. You see what these young people are doing, and of course, look at what you're doing. Quite amazing.
Thank you. It's a work in progress, but we get there because I'm inspired by your story. 5 years down the line and the work you've done, amazing. So, Femi, let's talk about WASPAC. Now that you're in Kenya, we have to. So WASPAC, do you see yourself, joining forces in the coming years?
I must commend the leadership of WASPAC for extending a hands of fellowship to us at AfriSafe to collaborate. like I told you, one of the challenges of African safety professionals and organizations is collaboration. When we see organizations like WASPAC getting involved in AfriSafe, like trying to promote AfriSafe, we felt that that is something. We feel that they have this genuine interest in pushing the safety message across Kenya. So it's a remarkable organization, and the president has really done well, and the executive member. I see this unity because I saw I've been in touch with several professional bodies across Africa. I saw this unity in WASPAC executive, and I see the way they do things, and they are not only pushing the Kenya safety agenda, they are also extending it to other East African region.
So Femi, what message did you give to up and coming OSH professionals? Is it an industry worth going into?
First, you must define what you want. You must define it. Then two, be willing to volunteer. Everything is not money. There are several things I do and I still do that I volunteer. So be willing to volunteer. Be willing to stick out. Oh, I want to volunteer. And when you are volunteering, give it your best. Don't say after they are not paying me. No, give it your best. Do it as if your life depends on it. I tell people, work more than what you're being paid, because eventually you end up earning more than what you're working for. And for the professionals generally, my advice would be that we need to come together. We need to collaborate with ourselves. We need to support ourselves. Look at what this young lady is doing. Vivian is doing an amazing thing. So let's see how we can support ourselves. And according to the Zulu people that says Umbutu, I am because we are. So it's very important that we all come together. We cannot exist alone. We can only exist together. And when one wins, we all win. Umbutu.